Once a popular destination drawing people from St. Louis and Chicago for weekend getaways on the water, Rend Lake Resort has sat empty for almost 4 years. And walking around the grounds today might leave you wondering if it will ever reopen. Overgrown weeds, cattails growing out of the pool, rooms without flooring or even drywall.
It's sad. It's really sad.
That's how fisherman Pat Harris describes Rend Lake Resort today.
Nice restaurant. Get up in the morning, go out about daybreak, catch some fish. About 9, go into the restaurant, have breakfast.
But it's been closed since December 2016 when the state terminated a lease agreement after mold was found, and the previous operator was behind in tens of thousands of dollars in bills. Since then, records News 3 obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request show the state has spent more than $1 million in upkeep.
They spent about $1.2 million, the state has, taking the mold out of each one of the different buildings that was identified. But one of the motels was in such disrepair that they actually took it down. So there were 2 motels, now there's 1 motel.
But that's not all. The expenses continue to grow. Electric, gas, heating and cooling maintenance, pest control. As days go by, the vacant resort draws similarities to Eagle Creek on Lake Shelbyville, another ID&R resort that was closed for mold back in 2009. And then fell into such disrepair it was burned to the ground in 2019. But ID&R Director Colleen Callahan is quick to point out differences between the 2 resorts, the main being that Eagle Creek was operated privately and failed.
The development of Rend Lake was undertaken originally by the department as a state project and was a successful facility that ultimately suffered from poor vendor management.
Since the closure, there have been multiple failed attempts to find someone to reopen it. One that last included $1.5 million in assistance.
They saw all that they were going to have to put into it and what they would get out of it. It made no sense on a business standpoint at all.
Representative Dave Severin told News 3 the state now has plans to take part of the project on itself. Illinois' Capital Improvement Board has money set aside to bring the buildings back up to code.
The state is actually going to put that in, and so there's 2 to 3 million, maybe possibly up to $4 million that has been set aside. It's actually been set aside for several years.
That renovation includes hiring engineers and architects, something that's near finalization. Then will come the construction and another attempt to find someone to run the resort.
So there are local business people that know how to run these types of facilities that are interested. With all the challenges, they still see that the opportunity is here.
As for a timetable, Callahan is optimistic the project will get done this time and the resort reopened, but says challenges still lie ahead.
We'll have to wait and see with this uncertainty of COVID, uncertainty that always surrounds funding, that we are confident that we are going to make progress this time.
In the meantime, folks like Pat Harris can only look from afar and think back to what it once was.
Well, I'd like to see it back to its old glory with something to be proud of.
Now, Representative Severin told me the engineer and architect should be approved sometime this month, and he hopes construction can begin in the spring. Once the construction is complete, that's when there will be another attempt to find a concessionaire. You can bet that I'll continue to keep following the long saga of Rend Lake Resort.